what is currently happening to the property market? Okay, I want to address this first because I find that a lot of teammates probably have a bit of mindset tuning problem. Everyone tells me that market it's bad, cooling measures that have occurred in April is hampering them. But is it true? What is really happening in the current market right now? Of course, you might say things like interest rate has gone up, but what me personally, because I want to share my personal experience with every one of you over here, not just as a project in charge, but also as a consumer. What have I been buying, and have I made a right choice in buying? So follow me, stay tuned. So over here, I'm going to talk about the private residential market outlook over here, where everyone is talking about market not doing well. And of course, looking at the third quarter 2023, we have a growth of only 0.8% compared to the last 10 quarters, where it has got an average of 2.2%. Transaction volume, has it dropped? Transaction volume has dropped. Indeed, okay, but please take note, although transaction volume has dropped, okay, but we are still at a 0.8% quarter-to-quarter growth. And this is something which I want to let you be informed that these signs over here indicate that property market buyers are actually exercising more caution. And it also indicates that the effectiveness of the cooling measure that has taken place in April. So overall, to summarize, our macro market outlook is that we are still growing. We are still growing healthily, probably not as great as the past 10 quarters where we have a 2.2% growth compared to a 0.8% growth. But right now, I would say buyers are more sitting on the fence. A few reasons. And of course, I believe you guys know that one of the reasons is that interest rate, it's rising very high. Probably not too many buyers liking, but let's stay tuned on how I'm going to show you that interest rate probably doesn't matter too much, even if it's high. Okay? Interest rates are so high. How to buy now? Guys, will you be buying? Are you pushing your clients to buy? Today, I am going to talk about something very different over here. I'm going to talk to you as a consumer myself. Do I buy myself? This is a picture of me exercising my sales and purchase agreement. Okay, not a residential property, not really a residential property, but a commercial property. So why do I still buy? I have bought this and exercised this, I think, earlier this year in 2023. And I believe that interest rate is still on a rampant high. But why do I still go in? I know that a lot of you would have techniques over here to share with your clients that don't worry, it will drop, interest will continue to be declining in 2024. But this is not sometimes what the clients really want to hear. I want to share with you personally from my personal experience and as a consumer, not as a property agent that only advises people to buy. I buy myself. And why do I buy? My situation when I bought my commercial property, my situation, okay? So my situation is that, okay, I was renting a studio, an office for my associates in my group, okay? So I was currently on a rental previously. Okay? So current rental previously, which I paid, is about 2,006 for the entire 1,005 square feet office. And if you know that rental rates increase tremendously over the past 1 to 2 years, and when my renewal come, guys, the owner, the landlord wants to increase up to $4,000, which is I would say near to 100% increase, probably an 80-70% increase. So I recalculated my sums. I do my numbers. I know that it is in a very high interest environment if I were to get it. But should I be stopped? Should I be stopped? I analyze, and to buy a commercial unit, I know my commercial unit interest is going to be very high at 4.18%. That's for commercial. It's high. 1 year ago, okay, 4.18%. But when I calculated my interest, even at 4.18%, my monthly installment after my down payment and stuff like that, my monthly installment works up to about 3,500. 3,500 versus a $4,000. Do you think I have made, guys? Do you think I am making a wise choice that for me to invest in the commercial property, to buy instead of to rent? If you guys think I made a right choice, can you key in 1 inside the chat box? If you think I made the right choice, let me know by keying 1 inside the chat box, because this is the scenario that you guys are potentially going to be facing. We talk about high interest rate, but it's not just about high interest rate that we should be worried about. To me, what is my sweet spot, which is going to be the same? What is your client's sweet spot over here? Is it manageable for them? Is the interest out of reach for them? To me, high interest, of course, it affects people, but it's just a number. But I find that what is actually the sweet spot for buyers right now is that, are they able to afford the monthly repayment, which is the monthly installment in a high interest environment? That's very, very important, because as you know just now, the landlord is going to increase my rental to $4,000 and my monthly installment works up to 3,500. I'm paying towards myself and they, despite the high interest rate. Is it manageable? Is it more worthwhile for me to get a unit paying monthly installment at a high interest environment compared to paying the landlord and me not getting a cent back? All these are very, very important. So that's why when I start, we just not want to talk about the stabilization of the property market. I also want to talk about high interest environment. But of course, guys, there is going to be some very, very good news for you all. Some very good news for you all about with regards to interest rate that is potentially going to go down. Okay, so want to share this personal experience of mine where everyone, when we talk to people about interest rate, despite right now that Fed is going to cut the interest rate at least 3 times in 2024, but over here, people still have, consumers still have a big stigma in them on these ever high interest rate. And when we talk about high interest rate, we don't talk about high interest rate, we talk about monthly repayment. Are we able to stomach the difference? Are we able to maintain my monthly installment? Is it going to be more worthwhile for me to get instead of the rental? And this is my case, which I want to present to you on how to circumvent to a client, how to circumvent to objections. Okay, if they were to tell you high interest rate, we package it up to them in terms of how, even in the high interest environment, it's more on you being able to digest the monthly installment or not. So, of course, higher interest rate equates to higher property values as well. Okay, interest rate, to be frank, no one can time it lah. There is no way anyone can time it. If you were to look at the graph inside here, you can see interest rate fluctuates every now and then. You are not able to time high interest versus what is going to be your median price and day. There is no way to time interest. What goes up will come down, vice versa. What goes down will come up. So in the last 2 decades, we see home prices ever increasing despite a high interest rate. High interest rate Does it equate to developers not going to be launching or pitching or getting their GLS government land sale? That's not true, okay? So developers, they are going to borrow from the banks, and this is going to be the high interest rate where the increase of the borrowing cost of the developers will be transferred to the homeowners as well. Definitely, someone has got to pay for it, okay? With the rise of interest rate, launch prices will definitely be increased as well, okay? And this will impact the new launch prices. And will resale market move as well? Resale market will move in tandem, fortunately, because everyone is trying to get close to everyone. What is going to move? What is going to move is that new launch is going to be ever high, interest rate high, developers borrowing is high, transferred over to the home buyers. This create a benchmark once again for new launch property. It's a primary vehicle, an indicator vehicle of how new launch market should move, the price index, and there follows the resale private properties. Will HDB increase as well? Everyone, it's going to be moving in tandem. That's for you. High interest rate, higher property values. It is just 1 month ago, near to 1 month ago, Fed mentioned that, US Fed mentioned that interest rate is going to stay high for some time. I know that you guys have been, went to a lot of seminars, Marcus seminar as well, to talk about buyers, what to buy during this high interest environment. Of course, everyone's pitch is about buying new launch home instead of resale to enjoy the progressive payment. So this is the next slide. New launch, is it going to be one of the best buy? I agree a lot that new launch is probably one of the best product to buy because by the time you are ready to sell, because new launch is in a progressive payment, and when you are ready to sell, according to the progressive payment table over here, you probably at TOP or CSC timing, you are already going to be paying low interest. But one very good news for you, just coming in last weekend, I think on Friday, where US Fed has already mentioned that it's going to hold rates steady. Signals about 3 to 4 cuts in 2024. So sit tight. Will interest decrease? Will this benefit you guys? It will then definitely benefit you guys over here, okay? And with such news over here, the Asian stock markets already rallying based on the US Fed remarks signaling rate cuts in 2024. But guys, look here, this is not going to make the developer cut the pricing. This is not going to make the developer cut the pricing. But this will make more developers come out to look at GLS and bidding at a higher price. Low interest, high interest, it will be passed on to the buyers eventually. Well, I would say, in a way, we are quite saktam. High interest, high borrowing, pass to buyers. Low interest, if Fed going to cut in 2024, it is going to arouse the appetite of more developers to bid at higher land prices over here. So what is the expected interest rate that you guys are expecting in 2024? Put inside the chat box. Guys. How many of you thinks it's going to be 3%? How many people of you are going to be thinking it's going to be at 2%? Type inside the chat box, please. Let me know. Educate me as well, because I am very curious to know what is going to be the new interest rate. Come, let me just look inside my chat box. 2.5, Aaron Chu, Alvin, 3%. What else, guys? What else, guys? Anyone want to key inside the chat box? How do you think interest rate is going to go? Is it going to go 3? Is it going to go 2.5? Is it going to go 2? That's very important. And one very important thing, I mean, I talk to a lot of bankers every day. And this fake news cut is really, really, really true. Interest is going to go down. I spoke to a banker just last week. Okay? And this is what I gathered from them. I do not know how many of you are active in sales and doing refinancing for your properties, because I am looking to helping some of my clients to do refinancing, okay, in this high interest environment, okay, at this high interest environment, okay. So I was in favor, because some of my properties, I've been taking this package by UOB. I'm not selling UOB. I'm not an advocate for UOB, but I find one of their packages very sexy. Okay, 2 years lock-in, fixed rate, and I think 3.3% or 3.1% for me. Okay, one of my properties. Okay, I think 3 or 3.1%. Okay, so I did my repricing already lah. When I check back again on this repricing, these are news that you need to gather from bankers. I had a very good package, 2 years lock-in. After 1 year, I can have a free conversion to another package for my fixed rate. But last week, when I called the banker, the banker says that there is no more such package left. It is outright 2 years lock-in, fixed rate with no free conversion anymore. And this is really in tandem. I tell you, why are banks doing this? Why are banks doing this? Because banks also know that interest rate is going to drop big time. Interest rate is going to be dropping big time, and that's why they are cutting away the free conversion and making everyone stay at 3%. Based on what I've deciphered, okay, I will boldly make an assumption that interest rate could probably drop to 2.3% to 2.5%. My very, very bold assumption. Okay, but let's not base on bold assumptions over here. Okay, let me just go to my next slide. Okay, so I take a comparison based on a $1.2 million property purchase price. Okay, based on a 4% interest at legal completion. Okay, I do not know whether you can see my cursor here. Can you see my cursor? I think you can see my cursor. I can see my cursor move. Okay, so at 4% interest rate for a $1.2 million property, okay, at CSC legal completion, the MI meaning monthly installment, if us correct this to 3% interest, my MI
recording in progress.
My cost saving based on the $1.2 million property is going to drop by another $500, which is definitely amazing. What do you imagine if this property price is going to be? This is based on a $1.2 million property. If you are talking about new launch property, it's going to be like a 1+ study or a 1-bedroom unit out there. If you are talking about a $2 million, $2.5, $3 million properties, these 1% decrease based on the Fed cuts that is going to happen in 2024, it's going to be immense. It's going to be very, very helpful. And let's not wait. Let's not wait for clients to wait till interest drop. Buyers flocking in to buy everything before your buyers going into the market. This is the latest news. How can you have potential savings over here, and how you going to be pitching to your clients? I will also be talking in ultimate agent seminar, okay? Ultimate agent seminar on things like how to get 75% loan up to age 75, okay? How do I decrease monthly installment? Just like using that technique, okay? Just like paying in a low interest environment. Stay tuned for my ultimate agent seminar, okay? I will go through a very, very psychological, impacting kind of training, very soft skill, psychological style to make your buyers buy on the spot, to make your buyers realize that what is actually the real number they are probably paying, what is going to be the technique. So stay tuned for my ultimate agent seminar, UAS seminar date, and I promise to be talking a lot more on this sort of tricks that can potentially help you more in your sales over here. Okay, anyone have got any questions before I carry on? Anyone got any questions? Please key inside the chat box. You know, let's make this session as interactive as possible. Like, I mean, you can ask me, why am I buying? You know, do I still feel comfortable buying in a high interest environment? And am I still buying? Yes, I am still buying. Like I mentioned, there is no way to time interest. There is no way to time interest. The only thing, as I mentioned, sweet spot is all about being able to stomach this entire monthly installment. Am I comfortable with it? That's something important. There is a question coming in. Okay, yeah, yes, correct, Marie. It's really to buy out and wait for property to appreciate. We buy to wait. We don't wait to buy. We will definitely be priced out every now and then based on what I mentioned to you. High interest environment, developers borrow, pass on to buyers. Low interest environment, developer also buy. Their risk appetite even bigger because of the low interest. They bid more for GLS or even en bloc. Buyers are going to pay as well. So yes, Marie, you're right. Don't buy to wait out. Don't wait to buy out. That's something very important which I want to advise you guys. Okay, let me go to the news, another news slide over here. Everyone talking about new launch prices, very high. Are they sky high? Are they sky high? No, I personally don't think that new launch prices are high anymore. It seems that, you know, since I don't know how many years ago, 2 years ago, when Pasir Ris 8 triggered the $2,000 per square feet for the smaller units, $2,000 per square feet is already a benchmark over there and is probably not even affecting. If you think new launches are high, what about the $1 million HDB flats that everyone is marketing? I trust some of you here are probably $1 million HDB transactor. Okay, if a HDB is already in a region at Bukit Panjang, $1 million. Do you think our new launch prices are still high? A four-room Pongo, which I understand from my associates, well, I mean, guiding them to some closings and stuff like that. Four-room Pongo, they are already transacting 650, 660. Is it crazy? Is it absurd? It's not. It's not. It's not crazy. It's not absurd. That is what I would say the new norm. The new norm already. Everyone is really understanding the new norm of HDB reaching 1 million. It has become a common sight. New launch prices in OCR, are they high at $2,000 per square feet? I guess not. But will I make capital appreciation in the future? But let us talk about, let us talk about why has price rise so high. The COVID situation was a trigger point that saw an unprecedented surge in home prices, because during that COVID, okay, there is going to be rising a lot of rising construction costs, labor costs, compliance compliance cost, and one of the most important URA point, okay, the rules that was implemented, harmonization of floor area. And with that regulation, it reduces overall sellable area. So who is going to stomach it? Who is going to stomach it? The developers are not going to stomach it. The Singapore government is not going to stomach it. Consumers are going to stomach it eventually. Okay, so this is basically some of the unprecedented surge in home prices based on these factors over here. But of course, manpower and materials shortage have already reduced, but construction costs continue to rise, okay? And these are the costs that are being loaded onto developers because they still have got skilled workers shortage, dormitory shortage, and these are the things that are contributing towards the rising cost. So is it high? This is going to be a new norm already. This is going to be a new norm where HDB flats, which I mentioned in Bukit Panjang, can reach $1 million. Punggol 4-room flat, 600 plus series, going up to 650,000. Is it quite absurd? No, it's not absurd, but it is the new norm that everyone has to accept. So remember, you might think it's high today. You might think it's high today, but today's high will definitely, it's not even a question mark. It's not even going to be a question mark over here. Today's high will definitely be tomorrow's low. That's not a question mark. I put a question mark, but I want to relate to you guys that this is not a question mark at all, because this is a cold hard fact that as we progress, this is something that will be definitely staying beside us in our entire life. Okay, let me look at the chat box. Yeah, let me look at the chat box over here. Okay, not much question. Thank you, Marie, for helping me liaise with the question. Thanks a lot. So let me just continue over here. So why home prices keep rising? Okay, why home prices keep rising? Some of the factors like that over here, but the most important fact is that there is a land scarce Singapore over here. When land are scarce, it equates to rising land costs. It's the same thing when you have got a low supply. When you got a low supply, naturally high pent-up demand is always being created, and that is why in the land scarce Singapore, everything is rising. Every piece of land that stays in Singapore is going to be expensive. Don't expect anything that is going to be, you know, I hate to use the word cheap, okay, but don't expect anything to be cheap right now in Singapore. Let me just look into the chat box once in a while. Okay, thank you, Marie, for liaising once again. Okay, so this is going to be higher GRS. Okay, the compound growth rate of 7.8% over 23 years. Compounded is going to be many percent from land price. If you can see my cursor, $219 in year 2000. Okay, to 2020. Okay, this is when COVID happens, guys. Okay, it is at 1118 per square foot per plot ratio, and over here in 2023, okay, we have about 1146. Even after harmonization floor area rule kicks in, which reduces developers' sellable area in a development. So these are the contributing factors that makes it rise. Developers' appetite also makes it rise. These are the every factors that makes it rise over here. And of course, developers' land buying spree is always seasonal. But if you can look at the chart right now, okay, we are talking about we normally have got a government land sale en bloc season. Okay, I should not go to the 2006-07 season, but the 2011 and the 2013 season, okay, up to the season over here in 2021-2023. Okay, but if you can look at the charts over here, okay, will GLS, we might have seen a peak over here. If you can look at my cursor, okay, you might have seen a peak over here, but will it continue to surge? Will it continue to surge? I boldly assume that it's going to continue to surge, guys, because if you were to look in 2011, 2013, and 2017, 2018 en bloc GLS season, look at the unsold units. The unsold units were ample over here before government land sale dip. So are developers going to be more adventurous in this 2021 to 2023 season? Will this 2023 season be prolonged up to 2024 because of the low interest rate and because there is a undersupply of unsold unit? 19,000 is not a lot compared to our hype where we have up to 35,000 units, unsold units. So will this GLS en bloc season continue to rise? Not just because of not having ample unsold units, but because of the low interest environment which I've spoken about just now. Will it arouse the developers' appetite for even more land, even more units in their inventory? So one bold assumption, once again, one bold assumption: new launch prices is going to continue to rise because of low interest environment. Developers will be looking out for land both in GLS and in en bloc sites, okay, and also because of the scarcity of unit, the undersupply. I will call it a very undersupply, but I will call it a slightly below average supply over here in the inventory books. So hope you guys have got a outlook on a micro view of what is the Singapore property context going to be all about. And of course, you know, everyone knows over here that you're coming here for SORA briefing lah. Okay, SORA briefing. Let me look at the chat box. Okay, yeah, developer smart giants. Yeah, Marie, you're right. They are the hustlers. They are the hustlers. They are always the people that make money. Okay, so but today, of course, like I mentioned earlier, everyone knows that you are here for SORA. Okay, where is SORA? And of course, SORA is something which Marie will bring to you guys later, the outlook of SORA, where exactly we are in SORA. So I want to share with you the Jurong story at a glance. I'm not going to go through with you the entire slide and the news article for you guys. I will have marketing upload these slides out, and you guys can slowly look at the slides yourself. A lot of news article about the Jurong story at a glance, because I think this year you guys have gone to Lake Garden, you guys have gone to the Jayden, and many people have been telling you the Jurong story, and I should not bore you too much with the Jurong story. Just a very, very brief glance of what is Jurong and what is my take of Jurong. Jurong over here. I always believe that mega infrastructures bring in transient population. The bigger the infrastructures, what do you mean by infrastructures? Infrastructure doesn't mean MRT alone. MRT don't bring in traffic. MRT alone doesn't bring in foot traffic, guys. Okay, if you can see some of the MRT stations are like ghost town. Mega infrastructures. What do I mean by mega infrastructures? I'm talking about mega infrastructures like that. We have mega malls, we have community hospitals, we have hotels, we have national park, we have a great transformation in Jurong itself. And if you ask me about Jurong, okay, if you ask me about Jurong, can you describe to me in one word, what is Jurong? Guys, can you key inside the chat box in one word to describe Jurong? One word. Key inside the chat box. I will need to have 10 replies before I carry on. Key inside the chat box in one word. In one word. How do you describe Jurong? In one word. Second CBD. Anything huge. Ulu. Hey, walao, hey, who say Ulu? Huh? This guy need to be shot. Hey. Western CBD, potential, new up and coming. Very good. Keep it coming anymore. Second CEDB. Very good, guys. Your answers are very, very different from me. What is Jurong? Jurong, it's a brand. My word over here, it's a brand. Jurong is not an estate anymore. Jurong is not. Jurong, it's a brand. It's a brand where many people sought after, and I'll explain to you why in some of the growth regions which are displayed out in the charts. Let me look at the chat box. Yes, guys. It's not even upcoming Lake Garden, Jurong Lake District, guys. It's not even a business hub. It's a brand. It's a brand. Very good, Beltan. Very good. It's about a new brand that we have. And today, SORA that you are selling, it's also the brand. It stays inside the brand. A lot of people like to tell me that Jurong is going through a transformation. No, Jurong is not going through a transformation. Jurong is going through an overhaul of a transformation. That's the keyword you need to pitch to your clients over here. We are not selling SORA as a residential property. We are not. We are selling SORA as a brand that everyone envisioned to have. Every brand where it creates work, life, play, everything together in one. Very good, Chris Ng. I like your phrase over here. Structural change in progress. Very good. A big overhaul in that transformation. I'm very excited to be sharing this with you. Okay. Existing infrastructures are there. It's already there. It's not about a transformation. It is about, guys, key in, everyone, key in over here. If you want to do well in SORA, if you want to do well in the west side, if you want to do up in the upcoming EC launch, you must understand that this western region over here, it's about the new brand. It's about the new brand. Okay, so I'm not going to share too much about the slides, the newspaper article, but what I want to share with you over here is the newspaper articles. You can read it in your free time, but what I want to bring across is to show you that there has been a lot of articles talking about Jurong. Everyone is talking about Jurong. It has already been transformed, but this is going to be an overhaul of a transformation. Okay, so some of the articles that you can look over here. And does this transformation equates to appreciation? Sorry for using the wrong word here about transformation. It's not going to be a transformation already. It's going to be, and like I mentioned, overhaul of a transformation. That is called the new brand. Guys, listen here. When we pitch, we don't just pitch Jurong. Jurong is just some alphabets in a word. But to me, Jurong is about the next thing. The next thing, the next best thing that can happen to you in your property purchase, in your client property purchase as well. So transformation, does it equate to appreciation? Look at the transformation over here, guys. Look at the transformation over here. Everyone is talking about growth. Okay, the regional center, everyone boasting, I stay east side. You know, I got a Tampines regional center, Woodlands regional center, Jurong Lake district, the CBD district. I only want to ask one question. I do not want to be biased over here. I do not want to be biased because I am the project leader for SORA. I don't want to be biased, okay? But which transformation, which regional center, which district do you think is the best? Which do you think is the best? Anyone is willing to sponsor an answer or give an answer to my question? Which is one of the best transformation? Hey, don't because we are marketing SORA, you all say SORA. Okay, I don't want to be biased. I don't want to be biased. But okay, but I want to ask you guys this one question. Okay, reply in the chat box when I ask you this question. Okay, we don't just say west side is the best side. East side is potentially going to be the best side as well. Alan Tang, you mentioned Jurong and Paya Lebar. Very good. Okay, Jurong and Paya Lebar. Can I ask you guys one important question? Or Woodlands Regional Center or what? Which area has got the most white sites in Singapore apart from Marina South area? Which area? When your clients ask you, it's always very important to understand what is called white sites. White sites are probably the most valuable land parcels in Singapore. Which area in the 4 areas that you see, apart from the CBD, or you can talk about the entire Singapore. You can even talk about the entire Singapore. But which area has got the most white sites land parcel in place already? If your answer is Jurong, that is why I mentioned that Jurong, it's going to be the new brand, where it's going to be you guys having a pie of it and they. So this is a outlook of some of the so-called always proposed growth area. But if you were to answer my question, which area in Singapore, apart from the CBD district, okay, has got the most white sites land parcel? Then your answer to your client will be very, very simple. You got no choice. Is west side the best side? West side is naturally the best side already. Stop talking to me about East Coast, many having lots of food. Okay, food doesn't really contribute to growth. I mean, probably it does. I mean, it is probably a catalyst for people to buy properties at East side. But we look in a very analytical way, and that is why this is how I perceive it, how I analyze it all together. Okay, so well, let us size it up to the west. I'll go through very briefly with you on this as well, because I believe this has been covered in Lake Gardens and in Jayden as well. This is just more of a refresher. So in the west, the entire west area, okay, the great overhaul of the transformation is going to involve these three vehicles. And what are the 3 vehicles? It's going to be Jurong Lake District, Jurong Innovation District, and of course the Tuas Port, because they are being abandoned by Keppel and they have to move over there. And I thank you, Marie, so much. And this is going to create a lot of working and job opportunities for the PMETs as well. Okay, so in a glance over here, let me just move forward. We have the Jurong Innovation District, okay, where it's near NTU University. We have the Clean Tech Park. We have home to the factories of the future. And of course, just next to it is going to be the 𝑘𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂, where this innovation district is going to have a lot of talent and training, research, R&D, research and development, technology providers and factories of the future. These are called infrastructures. These are called infrastructures that brings in good transient population to boost up what? Your potential rental, your capital appreciation. These are the things that contributes to it as well. Tuas Megaport being moved over from Keppel area, and it's going to be the world's largest automated terminal. And we have the Jurong Lake District, where our SORA sits inside the Jurong Lake District. And overall in a nutshell, I want you guys to stop talking about Jurong Lake District or Jurong as a word. When we talk about the new brand, it means Jurong. Let's use the word, the new brand, right now, right away, or when the show flat opens. The new brand will be the keyword that we will be addressing you when we are marketing SORA. Okay? Wow, I like the new brand. Actually, I just thought of it only, the new brand, while I'm talking about, while I'm doing these slides. Okay? So, connectivity-wise, one of the best around, along in Jurong Lake District, opening of a lot of upcoming MRT lines with the existing lines already, and this is going to be the Jurong Regional Line. I think this Jurong Regional Line, you're better than me, okay, I don't really take MRT, okay, so, but connectivity-wise, Jurong is really, really very well connected. Second CBD, yes, you can call it a business hub, you can call it, but we're going to name it with all the connectivity, with the three main mega infrastructure that brings in the transit population, which is the Innovation, Jurong Lake District, and the Tuas Megaport, bring in the transient population. This is what we have, the new brand as a whole. Okay. So, should not bore you too much with all those statistics and telling you about how good Jurong is, but okay, I think it's important to know of some of the performance of previous launches in Jurong. Okay, if you for those who know, do pardon me, but I just want to let you know some of the previous launches, not our latest Lake Garden and Jayden launches, okay, not that, but I'm talking about something way before. Okay. We're going to talk about some of the past performance after they completed TOP and sell after selling. Okay, so Lake Grand, it started in 2019, 63% sold at launch. Lakeview, 2017 launch, 36% sold at launch. J Gateway, launched in 2016, near to 100% sell out. So at launch. These are the statistics that we have. I can't be saying that whatever property price, what we are selling, we're going to be the best price, we're going to be 100%. So I can't guarantee you that. But what is the performance of all these condos in between the Jurong Lake District? What is happening to them, and how are owners benefiting from them? In Lake Grand, they are benefiting about $290 per square feet in terms of growth. Lakeview, although they had a slower start in their launch, okay, but they grew $314 per square feet growth. And of course, J Gateway, one of the very popular one, it has a growth of $455 per square feet. So these are the performance. These are the performance of Jurong condos that have been launched and ready TOP, CST, and sold in the resale market. Talking about, wow, It's high per square feet for these condos. But see, guys, we have overcome them all together. Jurong is really the place to go. The new brand, it's something that you need to have. Let me look at the chat box once again. Sorry, okay, so these are the growth over here. Some outlook of the some of the projects in more towards the Lakeside MRT station. So what about the 2023 launches in Jurong? What about them? Okay, 2023 launches. How did we fare? Are we doing well? Look over here. 𝒂𝒂𝒃, 1,300 checks collected for 𝒂𝒂𝒃. 88% sold on the first day with an average per square feet of $2,451. This is 𝒂𝒂𝒃. 1,003 square feet. 1,003 checks collected. I think we sold about 300 over units as a whole in 𝒂𝒂𝒃. Did we sell about 300 over units in 𝒂𝒂𝒃? I think we sold about 300 over units in, yes, 330 units. Thank you. About 330 units. Okay, 1,003 checks. 1,003 checks. Let's assume, guys. Let's assume, okay, we got 1,003 checks. We got 1,003 checks in 𝒂𝒂𝒃. 300 of the buyers bought. We got a balance of how many buyers we checked? Probably left 1,000. Probably left 1,000. Where are these buyers going to go? Where are these buyers going to go? They are probably going over to SORA. They are probably going over to SORA because in my next slide over here, I'm going to show you about Lake Garden, which is our neighbor. In September, only 2 units sold. When 𝒂𝒂𝒃 was launched, crazy movement in Lake Garden. So 1,000 checks left. 11 units have gone to Lake Garden, or even more, slightly more have gone to the Lake Garden. Guys, how many consumers are you still needing to reach out to? There is a good amount of buyers out there who wants a piece of the new brand. So are you ready for them? Do you want to help them to get probably the best well-priced project in the west side for 2024 or probably in Singapore? Guys, reach out to your clients. Your clients are waiting for you. They want to get something. They want to have the new brand with them. So please help them with the new brand by bring them to SORA and to get a unit over there. So we talk about that. What is going to be the potential selling price of SORA? How much do you think we will be selling? Key inside the chat box. How much you think I should tell the developer to sell? How much you think I should ask the developer to sell? Hey guys, key inside the chat box. How much per square feet should I tell developer to launch? How much? 1,009. Wow, really or not? 1,950, 2,001. How much? Okay. SORA is on block. Marie will bring to you that later. Very good. Everyone is thinking that it's probably hovering at that price. Okay, so what is the potential selling price? What is the potential? I mean, I did a comparison. I did a compare. Okay, so let us look at what is the break-even cost for SORA, formerly known as Parkview Mansion, which is, yes, you guys are right, is the en-bloc site. Break-even price is at 1,847. Average break-even price. Average 1,847. Average price. So how much do you think we should sell? I did a compare. This is for your imagination, but probably your imagination could come true. I don't know. Likely coming true. Someone unmuted, is it? Can Okay, thanks a lot for muting it again. Okay, so SORA versus my neighbor. My neighbor. Who is my neighbor? Lake Garden. Also same on block side. Okay, what is Lake Garden break-even price? Lake Garden break-even price on average is 2073. Average price for SORA is how much per square feet? Is 2111. Of course, the bigger units, are they transacted lower per square feet? It probably at 1880. That's the lowest and the average per square feet. Let's not bother too much about the high per square feet. Okay, so now SORA break even is at 1847. 1847. If you were to do some mathematical calculations, it's about 200 plus minus per square feet per plot ratio difference in terms of pricing. So how will SORA be priced, guys? How will SORA be priced? Will it look like it's going to be the most affordable project in 2024, not just in the west side, not just in the west side being the best side, but in the entire Singapore? Is it one of the sexiest product? Is it one of the sexiest brand that you can bring to your clients and make them buy right now? So I leave it to your imagination, but based on the track record, no promises, no promises. Okay, one of the developing is a JV, it's joint venture within some developers. Okay, 𝐒n𝐤𝐢t𝐬 is one of them. I look at the behavior. Okay, when Grand Diamond was launched, okay, the price index is in sync with Tembusu Grand. Okay, they bought slightly higher, but the average price of Tembusu Grand launch and Grand Diamond is the same, the average pricing. Okay, so I leave it to your imagination. I do not want to pen it out over here in this slide because I don't want to overly commit something which I can't be 100%. Okay, but based on behavior, based on track record, something like that might happen. Something like that might happen. I can't guarantee you. So by looking at that, do you think that you can bring your client to buy this new brand over here? Okay, so let me just look into the chat box. Wow, yes, cheapest after Botany. Wow, Botany, a bit tough to compare with us lah. Okay, Botany is good. Botany is definitely good for sure. But remember, Botany is not yet a brand. SORA, what we are known as the new brand. Okay, so this is just a price matrix where I've done up. Okay, we also have our unit type ready, where Marie will bring you over later, where we have 1 plus study till 5-bedroom. Okay, this price index is just an aggregation, just a guesstimate. Okay, so I put it in terms of lower side limit from break-even price. I increased 10%, medium price towards the center I increased by 15%, and 20% being the upper side limit. Okay, where I don't think we'll be really using over there. Okay, so this is just a very guesstimate. When you talk to your clients, you can probably share with them a little bit of this. Okay, so potential upside, potential upside. Now you see Jaden, 2475 per square feet, near the 2005. SORA, how much? Let's make a very pessimistic guess, pessimistic guess. It's let's put it as same as let's put it as same as Lake Garden. Lake Garden break even is about 2001. Let's put at 2001 for SORA. Okay, how much Jaden need to sell to make a profit? If the average per square feet is already 2,005 per square feet, rounding up, okay? They need to sell at least 2007 to 2008 to really make a profit. But what about SORA, guys? What about SORA? What about the new brand? What about the new brand which we have mentioning to you for the past hour? What is it going to be? Average price to sell, to make a profit is going to be 2,475 or 2,005, which is at Jaden's entry price. Do you think this new brand suits you real well? Last but not least, we talk about the en bloc cycle going to carry on, going to be entering my bold assumption into 2024. And if this lakeside towers, which is just 2 plots away from SORA, what do you think will the price be? The new brand at SORA.
Yes, the new brand. Now we shop the new brand at SORA.
Awesome. Okay, so Marie, please take it from there. I will stop share my screen and you go ahead with yours. Is it okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks everyone for your time. Thank you.
I will be sharing with you the minute details and the design concept of SORA, right? Because with what Dennis has shared with you in a macro view, now that you understand the market sentiments, the interest rate environment, we go down micro view into the project itself. Now, SORA, as you know, was bought over by on block basis, and when the developer or joint venture developer CEL, 𝑗𝒙 and TK189 development bought over this, it gave birth to SORA. And the land they bought is 192,000 square feet of land at 260 million. So Dennis already brought you through on what possibly would be the break-even price. So, you know, it's going to be at 1,023 per square foot per plot ratio. So this, if you calculate it and estimate it, it may come up to almost like in a 2,000 per square foot range. But we should not be too hung up about the price, because what this product is out for us, we really have to go behind it and also understand the makers of it, the developers who will bring to us SORA, right? So we go into what CEL, 𝑗𝒙 and TK189 is about. They have actually a very reputable track record. In fact, if you look at a glance right now at all these past projects that were done by them, all of them are actually very, very healthy in the resale market as well, right? And they are actually also really well built and well made, if you look at it. But worthy to mention is actually Park Como. How many of you actually went to Park Como show flat? When I went in, right, it was a wow factor for me. And because of this, they won the top show flat excellence award and marketing excellence award. Amazing, because they actually brought the whole experience of greenery into Park Como, which is then one of the cheapest freehold development in Upper Changi area, right? And of course, all these accolades will give you confidence to talk about who our developer is and who is going to make and build SORA. Okay, do know we have 2 sites right now. The show flat location is at Princess Street itself, where the former M show flat is, right to the left right here, where the M used to be. SORA is going to be there and our show flat is going to be there, but it's just not ready yet. So while in the interim, what you can do is to bring your clients on site at Yuan Ching Road. We have a gallery there that showcases unique selling points of SORA. And there's also a viewing gallery up at level 9. So this is how it will look like. right? That's our show gallery. And this is the kind of view you will get. It's really greenery and beautiful. And I'll show you more. And so this is the inside of the gallery. It's small, but it's enough for you to talk to your clients. All right. So I will bring you to a few slides to look at the views from atop of the rooftop from block 1. You can see for yourself, it's just totally unblocked. Okay, another perspective over here. And they are mostly east, southeast, or northwest facing. Northwest meaning onto the Yuan roadside. But whatever that is fronting the Jurong Lake Park, Jurong Lake Garden is actually towards the east, southeast part. Okay, block 3, you can see the landscape is changing a little bit, but it's still totally green. And actually what is very common in all these slides of the views, right? Can anyone tell me what's very common? It's the sky, right? You see a lot of greenery and you see sky. That's because sky, or the word kong, is what SORA is about. SORA is a Japanese word that connotes sky. And because when you buy a unit down here, you are actually buying a strata space itself, in effect. So when you own your space, you can create it into your own space. This is what SORA's whole concept is about. Buying a piece of your strata space and making it your own. And if you were to look at our master plan, where SORA is, okay, over here, what you see is really a huge, huge green patch with lake right in the center. Now, of all the developments around that is residential in nature, we only have three gems, right, fronting the park. Of course, our neighbor is Lake Garden Residences. SORA is definitely one of the longest that's fronting the park. And do you know that this park is not an ordinary park? It has 90 hectares of green, and there's also 7.2 kilometers of walk. 3 main zones in Japanese garden, Chinese garden, and lakeside garden. And there's also 2.3 hectares of forest rumble for kids, for children to play with and in. There's also Fusion Spoon, Starbucks coffee, and this right side skate cafe already operating in Jurong Lake Garden. Promise to have more because right now Japanese garden and Chinese garden is undergoing renovation to make it, beautify it better for you. So in the interim, while SORA is also building, can you imagine when everything else comes together, it's going to be the new brand, like Dennis said. Amazing. Okay, and for people who love to exercise and cycle, I'm glad to share that the pink routes all around this park and towards the outside of Jurong Lake Garden, it's all nicely connected for you. PCN riding bicycle routes. And if you pull out this map a little bit bigger, you can see that this outline red dotted rectangle, right, is actually spanning 300 meters, overlooking and fronting this huge park towards Chinese garden. And actually right now it's called Jurong Lake Gardens. And of course, beside us, architecturally, the Lake Garden Residences is going to be connected and melted together with us in design. I will share with you in a little while. How is this possible, right? Because we front the garden, that's why the architects ADDP and EcoPlan Asia Private Limited has planned in such a way that they bring elements of the garden into SORA. Okay, so they will have design and arrangement of specially carefully placed rocks, water features, and lush vegetation that will be brought into the landscape itself. And with each culture, be it Japanese or Chinese, it brings in with their own aesthetic and philosophy to the concept of this one Asian garden. So it's very exciting how the architects and the landscape architects are going to bring Jurong Lake Garden into SORA itself and into the landscape. Okay, so based on 3 strong concepts of water, park, and reflection, these elements are going to be repeated and they are going to be featured strongly in the landscape of SORA. So along with this park, water and reflection, water, I want to kind of talk about something like, okay, park first, all right? Park, because this site is 300 meters and it in fronting the Jurong Lake Garden. So to integrate this flawlessly into SORA, there will be all these trees, willows, and specially selected flora, fauna that would actually bring the whole concept of garden into SORA. And seen in this, right, SORA itself, you can see the crown of this towers that we have. It's not flat. It is going to be cascading. So it reflects this Jurong Lake's fluidity, the power of the water flowing and being fluid. So it reflects this dynamic nature of the water that's going to be seen in the sinuous curves of SORA's 2 towers. Very, very beautiful. Okay, and the Chinese element is seen here in these 2 welcoming lanterns, I would say, because when light is flitting into these 2 elements of lantern, it has this Chinese lantern feel that welcomes you as you enter SORA through the main entrance. And with this little hole, we call it the moonlight deck, it's going to reflect the evening's light back into the main 50 meters lap pool. So this is a very powerful reflection that is seen in SORA itself, but also outside of SORA. When you stand at the opposite end of the lake, overlooking and looking out towards SORA, you are going to see this curves of SORA from the low blocks of 12th story and then further up to 20th story and joining up with our neighbor, which is Lake Garden Residences. So from afar, you can see it's all connected like a wave and it's being reflected back into the lake in front. So beautiful, so poetic, don't you think? Right? Don't you think so? When I saw this, I already fell in love with it because it kind of reminds me of Sky Habitat and 𝐷𝒐𝙗 coming together. I'll show you in a while later in the slides. So right now, all the technical facts, right? We are going to stories and 2 blocks of 12 stories being joined by the bridge. Okay, I will let you see this in a different slide and it will become clear. So with 440 units and a single basement car park, we have a lot of communal facilities as well. And not to worry, we have 1 plus study to 5 bedroom unit types for you. And definitely enough parking lots. And the expected TOP date is going to be 30th June 2028. So as I mentioned, ADDP Architects and EcoPlan Asia are the main landscape artists that brings all these elements into SORA. Beautiful. There you go. 12 stories, 20-story block. And with this, when you look from the aerial view, this is going to stand out like this. okay, linked by this bridge and in a cascading form. It's not going to be a single level roof terrace. It's going to cascade down. And because of this, you're going to get a 360-degree view like this. At the top of every tower, okay, or the crown of this two towers, you're going to get this sky 360 bar. And you can entertain friends, you can have a piece of the view and the sky. And you can see how beautiful when it's all lighted up in the evening. So you want a piece of this, you have to get that space. And when you look at this, I want to point out that the park, right? The fronting of our towers towards the park, you're going to see that we have all this breakdown of units, and you can see that majority of this are actually targeted at families with children and families, because it's almost making up almost 50% of the unit types out of 440 units. So having said that, it doesn't mean that the young couples are being left out. Young couples will probably be looking at the 2-bedroom deluxe and 2-bedroom deluxe plus study, which is actually quite a number of percentage of units as well. Okay, of course, we don't forget the 1+ study, which is also apt for single who may want a part of this new brand in Jurong Lake District. Okay, so how will the units be distributed? You can see that the bigger units are definitely the ones with the front seat fronting the garden, and the smaller units are 1+ study, only 1-2 stacks, and 2 bedrooms are the ones facing Yuan Ching Road. But not to worry, everyone who goes up to the top floor will get a view of everything. So everyone who has a unit here will get a view. And when we pull it out further, you can see right here, the site plan, okay, the draft site plan already planted into this area. So you can see how long this piece of land is. It's 300 meters fronting the park. It's almost like running the 400 meters track around the stadium and unrolling this red carpet there. And you, because of this, right, if you were to tilt it a little bit, I just want to make it easy to remember for you. You kind of remember what 7-Up was? 7-Up has this Fido-Dido, right? Don't you see that his head is almost pretty similar to this piece of Japanese garden being linked with the mouth here, and then the neck, and then to this left or right side of the body. It's like the heart of the whole garden is being linked back into SORA, the blood supply. Now, SORA, because we have 300 meters of frontage to the park, we also boast of the over 60 facilities that are present there. It's so much to share, I tell you. I'm lost. I'm already lost in the facilities that they have. Okay, but definitely when you come in the evening, you're going to get this moonlight deck and the reflection into 50 meters pool, and it gives you that very Chinesey garden lantern feel. And once you come in and in the day, broad daylight, this is the kind of willowy, wispy trees that line the atrium, moonlight atrium, and then it flows into the scenic curves of the towers that we have as at home. And if you were to draw out parts of the site plan, right, this will show you that we have the reading room, function room, not just 1, but 2 function rooms, reflective pond, moon gate, atrium, pool deck, and the 50 meters lap pool. And there's also, this is another perspective of how the lantern will look like. Okay, that was from the side. Now this way, you can see that there are actually a lot of sitting areas for people to wait around as they wait for their Grab or they wait for their friends to arrive. This is another segment. It's called the Tranquility Garden. It will showcase the creek and a lot of pavilions for you to make tea, coffee, and have barbecue. And there's even a pets corner and a bicycle parking and dining lounge area, because you want to cycle to the park, right? So there will be provision for cyclists. Oh, this one is worthy to mention, because what I talked about earlier on was the Chinese element. Now this is the Japanese element that's brought in through the spa house, where you have the Zen courtyard lined with the bamboo corridor. How many of you has been to Japan and have gone through this amazing experience of Arashiyama, the bamboo forest? If you close your eyes, right, you can literally hear the whispers of the bamboos in the wind. There's a very, very peaceful feel to it. And when you are meditating here after having a spa session, come into the Zen courtyard. If you were to do your meditation there, it's going to be so peaceful and beautiful. I love it. How many of you do yoga and meditation here? I do. Okay, and so this is another Oasis function room. You can see the function room is very different. It actually opens up to a view of a water feature. There's just so many facilities to share, right? And then, of course, there's this connection growth area, which features actually the other pool, which is a family and the kids pool. So this is more for families together, where they will have their social deck and the second function room. Now, after appreciating how beautiful SORA is in design concept and how the landscape architects actually bring in the garden element in, you are thinking, okay, who shall I share this to? Don't worry, we have a lot of hyping activities, and you can actually reach out to people who have bought Lake Life EC. They will be ready to sell and upgrade. Okay, a very old Somerdale EC, but still there will be people who will want to upgrade. Even way out there in 𝑙𝒂𝒃 is because I mentioned it because I was 𝒂𝒃 DD, right? And during the time when I marketed this, and this was back in 2017 until now, it's a mixed D by Ching, right? My buyers who bought 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, they all made money. That's why what Dennis said earlier, don't wait to buy. You buy in and wait it out until it is time for you to pick up and sell your unit and upgrade and move on to another asset progression. See the amount of money they make selling all these unit types that they bought. It's never a good time to try to figure out when to catch the wave and all that, right? When you decide to buy, it is always a good time for you to pick it up so that your property will actually increase in value on paper and then physically when you sell it. Now, all this information, actually, you can find it in Sales Plus. We are equipped with the skills and the tools already. So teammates, do go into Sales Plus, tap into the trends and analysis function, pull out various projects that you want to check, and you will see all the figures popping up, right? This one was done for 𝒂𝒃, and then there's also the lakefront residences, which is actually next to Lakeside MRT. This was one of the first projects that I also sold back in 2010. So I have a few buyers who bought from me during this 2010 launch. And when they resold it recently, right, most of the sale volume is in 3-bedroom units. Guess how much they make? Yes, more than 500,000. They are making this kind of profit, and they have cashed it out, and they have actually progressed in their assets. Look at the 4-bedroom profits. So are you convinced that you should buy something, or your client should buy something here? Yes? So for those who enjoy poems and are poetic in nature, this is a very nice narrative from the branding concept that I'd like to share with you. Okay, and maybe you take a moment to inhale and exhale. Embrace all that life has to offer. Possibilities abound in a boundless oasis. Between vast skies and serene lake, nature's song mingle with your inner flame. Embrace all that is you, starting with your own space, on your own or with loved ones, someplace you are proud to call your own. At SORA, a new culture, a new city, reimagining a new way of life, we create a space, you define it. Own your space, your own space. Beautiful, isn't it? I enjoy all this. Don't worry about the USP. We will be texting this out to you in bits, and which is why I thank you for being with me during this time.